You've probably been through that big reorg before. The CEO stood on stage, new strategy, new departments, new approval powers handed to a fresh batch of change leaders. This time, we're really different. You bought it, you updated your workflows, you learned the new systems, you even convinced the skeptics, no, this one's real. Then 18 months later, that flagship transformation unit merged. Head of the merged division, the same exec who fought the reform hardest on day one. Those shiny new approval limits, centralized, for synergy. The reformers, some resigned, some got promoted to roles that sound important but mean nothing. You look at the org chart, it's the same chart you saw 5 years ago, and you ask yourself, what the hell did we just spend 2 years doing? You think the reform wasn't radical enough. You think the opposition was too powerful. You think leadership lost its nerve. No. You're watching the oldest law of organizational physics, structural rebound. Reform is the system performing surgery on itself. Rebound is the scar tissue. No one sends a memo about this law, but it's been running for 2,000 years. 3 seats you can occupy when the rebound hits, not job titles, survival positions. Seat 1, the true believer. You gave it everything. You owned the new processes. You bet your credibility on this reform. What this seat really costs, when everything goes back to the old ways, you're not just seen as wrong, you're seen as the one who believed too much. You look like you cared too much. Your success was tied to something that's now being erased. A system can forgive a reformer. It cannot forgive someone who still believes after the reform is dead. You start doubting your own judgment. Was I just naive? No. You just misjudged the half-life of change. Seat 2, the already checked out. You've seen this movie before. 3 times. 5 times. You sign the forms, you attend the training, but you never believed a word. What this seat really costs, you survived. But it came at a cost. People respect your experience, but no one seeks your advice anymore. No one remembers you advocating for anything. When the next critical node opens up, you're not even considered. You traded disappointment for invisibility. Colleagues respect your experience. They don't seek your advice. You're a process supervisor, not a problem solver. You won the game of not losing. You just forgot that not losing isn't the same as winning. Seat 3, the archivist. You didn't bet on the reform. You didn't check out either. You started a private file, which changes lasted more than 3 years. Exactly when did that power get pulled back, and who was in the room? Which reformers kept influence after the rebound? What do they have in common? You stopped asking, will it last this time? You started asking, how is this rebound different from the last one? What this seat really costs. 0 short-term reward. No one pays you for pattern recognition. You have to stay warm enough to observe, cold enough not to attach. That balance is exhausting. Reformers find you insufficiently enthusiastic. Conservatives find you insufficiently loyal. You occupy a narrow strip of low visibility and low protection. And you have to surrender something, the belief that good ideas eventually win. If that belief is wired into you, this seat will quietly, slowly hollow you out. 3 seats. Not choosing is also a choice. It just comes with a cost sheet you never audited. Here's the tool no one gives you. 5 signals. Read them before the rebound announces itself. 1. Where is the power attached? If it's attached to a person, name on the appointment letter, it rebounds the moment that person leaves. If it's attached to a position, written into the role description, it takes a policy rewrite to retrieve. Person-attached power rebounds in months. Position-attached power takes years. 2. Who owns the resources? Did the reformers get their own budget codes, their own IT systems, or did they just get usage rights? Usage rights can be revoked by email. Ownership requires liquidation. 3. How long are the reformers guaranteed? 2-year terms, performance linked to reform metrics, or we'll review next year. Reformers without tenure protection are not reformers. They're hostages. Rebound doesn't need to defeat them. It just needs to outlast them. 4. Is the old system really gone or just napping? Old departments suspended, old process owners reassigned to other influential roles, old policy folders labeled for reference. Suspended is not abolished. For reference is not void. A dormant old system has perfect memory and can be hot-started in days. 5. How close did the reform get to the real power? Did it touch budget allocation? Senior appointments? Who gets to speak for the organization? And if it touched those things, did it change how the people at the top are selected? Power redistribution that doesn't modify the rules of power generation is not transfer, it's borrowing. And borrowed power is always recalled. Now plot what you're seeing. But what if the system is about to change in a way you didn't expect? Stick around, because the real signs of the rebound are just starting to surface. If it's person attached, usage rights, no tenure, old system asleep, distant from core power, you're not in a reform. You're in a limited time exhibition. Rebound within a year. If it's position attached, independent ownership, 2-year tenure, old system abolished, close to core, you've bought time, maybe 5 years. But unless you touch the selection rules, rebound is still coming. If it touches how power is generated, charters amended, ownership changed, succession rules rewritten, that's not reform, that's reset. The system might actually stay in a new shape. 2 stories, both true, one you know, one you don't. 1910s, America, the progressives. They really believed they'd permanently change the relationship between Washington and the market. Railroad regulation, food safety, antitrust. 1920s, Harding, Coolidge. Railroad regulation loosened, antitrust prosecutions dropped. The FDA's budget froze. Power returned to where it had never truly left. 1990s, IBM, Lou Gerstner, textbook transformation, broke the Central Committee, killed lifetime employment, built a matrix of autonomous business units. 2010s, Armonk, the integrated operations team quietly reappears. Global resource allocation, core tech roadmaps, senior appointments. Power returned to where it had never truly left. 2018, Maserati, Fiat Chrysler, unprecedented autonomy, independent purchasing, independent R&D, independent brand operations. Decentralization is the future. 2019, purchasing authority centralized, product planning centralized, brand positioning centralized, power returned to where it had never truly left. Critics call it backsliding. Supporters call it course correction. The system doesn't care what you call it. The system just runs. But how long can it keep running before the next big explosion? What's the next phase in the cycle? 3 directions, not steps, directions. 1, start a rebound timeline, not who came, who went. Intervals. Reform launched to first power retrieval, how many months? First retrieval to full rebound, how many more? 3 cycles. You'll stop guessing and start reading. 2, learn to see the 2 kinds of power. Reboundable power returns to the exact same hands, exercised at the exact same frequency. Nothing changed. Non-reboundable power, the center technically has it back, but they never actually use it at the old volume. Divisions still call the shots. Headquarters just signs last. Non-reboundable power is the reform's real inheritance. Document it. It's the only evidence that anything ever happened at all. 3. Own something the center needs but cannot monopolize. The center will always take back approval authority. It cannot take back the ability to translate between warring departments. It cannot take back the memory of why that policy was written in the first place. It cannot take back the trust network that routes around the formal workflow. These are low center dependency assets. They don't rebound because they were never delegated, they were accumulated. None of this stops the rebound. None of this makes you look prophetic. Clarity isn't protection. It's just the qualification to name what phase you're in. But next time someone asks, why do we always end up back here? You won't say, I know, it's frustrating. You'll say, type 1 rebound. Power attached to individuals. No independent budget. Old system just dormant. Core power untouched. Window was 18 months. Actual was month 21. The reform's real legacy isn't the policy. It's the 23 people who now know how much authority actually feels like. That's the seed inventory for the next attempt. One sounds like complaint. The other sounds like audit. One more thing. Rebound never arrives without warning. 6 months before the formal announcement, you'll notice a reformer's name missing from 3 consecutive meeting invites. A cross-functional committee's agenda quietly changed from decision to information sharing. Finance sends a clarification note on expense reporting with 13 new attachments. These are not noise, these are the dominoes. Next episode, L3-63. How to recognize the signs of contraction and how to tell whether you're being paranoid or whether the system is already in its pre-rebound silence.